Hello and welcome back to Rogue Trader. Last time we came up here, discovered that we were an heir to this person's Rogue Trader title, and then we got attacked. So we need to go and find out what's happened to the person she went off to investigate who's been attacking us. So let's head up here and see if we can find anything out. Alright, so we got some people over here. Can we join in on this combat, or is this like just happening? I think this is just happening. I don't think we can actually do anything with it. Oh, it was a breakthrough attempt. Crew to arms. Ah, well this explains why we can't join in here. We capture the bridge. Attack. Oh, well that isn't good. And am I meant to join in, or no? I think everyone's going to be dead. Okay, fair enough. Right. Head up here, ignore everything else apart from the mission. Can I go this way? Absolutely not. That would be not allowed. Anything to click on? We got a door here. We got someone called Mort. That's the person we're looking for. How's he doing? That seems pretty good. Kunrad Voidship lets out a sigh of relief upon seeing you. Thank Providence you are alive and well. Always on time, Kunrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You could set your chrono by it. Kunrad pointedly looks away from the arch-militant to you. Mort, pull yourself together. The arch-militant looks back at you. What, did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We're all done here. I'll report right away. Mort pulls out his vox from the belt and hurriedly reports on the situation. Oh, very calmly walking in here. Master of Whisperers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent, the Vox Master is not responding. Armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my arch-militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report. I have not yet received word from the Engineerium regarding my any Gellerfield failures, but communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I'm receiving scattered reports from the middle decks, and the only voxcasts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. Voigtvir pauses. That the madmen have already reached the officer's deck suggests that this outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny. Okay. So who would attempt a mutiny here in the warp? Lunatics, fools, heretics. The ship houses thousands upon thousands of people. Pernicious thoughts and warp-induced delusions have tainted any one of them, or could have tainted any one of them. It is a difficult notion to accept, but such risks are inescapable. First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the navigator's sanctum are secure, and I have the means to do both things at once. Her expression changes as her eyes flash ominously. Theodora looks at Voigtvir. Edelthrad, where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons. I wonder if she says anything if you're a psyker. Probably not, I would imagine here, but maybe in the finished game. I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is that he arrived on Transitional Deck 18. Blast it. Master of Whisperers, find Edelthrad immediately. Seneschal, locate Class and the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain at my side. Arch-militant with me, I must go to my study. It appears that we might encounter heretics along the way. Calder? Theodora glances at you thoughtfully. If I may, Lord Captain. Voigtvir's voice is soft and cautious. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Adelthrad back, well, I could use some support. After all, I am not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the house as the esteemed arch-militant, and taking into consideration Adelthrad's psychic powers. Oh. Then it's settled. Find Adelthrad and... Did I miss something? Is he still... He is still here. Okay, I was wondering... I thought he ran off for a second there. Then it's settled. Calder, find Adelthrad and return here. In any state. This elevator, she points at the massive doors, leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers and the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand? I hear and obey, Lord Captain. We know what in any state means. It means alive or dead. Theodora waves a hand impatiently. Then move out. Mort, come. Aha, so it's us and Voidsphere. This'll go well. Voidsphere gives you a nod. Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk and you do not even have proper gear. Okay. Well, I shall make do. Lead the way. Of course you will. He rummages in his pocket for something. Lady Theodora would never have someone she couldn't rely on as one of her heirs, but that is no longer relevant. With a pop and a sharp crackle, something hits you in the abdomen, and you are consumed by unbearable, gut-wrenching pain. Well, he betrayed us, in the least surprising betrayal of the century. I promised you a special destiny, Calder. It is time to fulfill it. Okay. I don't like the sound being used for a special destiny. That definitely does not sound good. That sounds like we're about to be sacrificed on some kind of altar. Hopefully not, though. I would rather prefer to not have that happen. Well, we failed the mission to find out the whereabouts of Heir Adelthrad. Well, it wasn't entirely our fault. Careful, careful, be gentle with our guest. He has an important mission to complete during our visit to the warrant chamber, and for that I need him breathing. Voidsphere looks down at you. You are back with us, I see. Delightful. What is the meaning of this? You must have hit your head harder than I thought. No matter, very little is required of you, just your blood, which you can either share of your own volition, or I will spill it for you. We are in the anteroom of the warrant chamber, this voidship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power, the sacred warrant of trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates of the chamber are guarded by the sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the sentinel. Okay. Why are you doing this? Why? Because I'm following an order. What is happening to the ship right now has been in the making for a very long time. All that remains is to obtain what my master sent me for, the warrant of trade. Interesting, so I had assumed that if he was going to betray us, he would have betrayed us because he wanted the warrant of trade for himself, right? He wants to take over this highly prestigious rogue trader position, and doing this will get him that goal. However, that's not what he wants. Somebody else wants him to get it. So somebody else, I guess, wants to take down Theodora more importantly than anything else. Well, what is it, inbred? Is your blood too thin for the sentinel? On the contrary, the warp's blessing has raised me too much above your kind, von Valancius. The sentinel refused to submit to me, but you can help. After all, isn't that what family is for? So the warp's blessing has raised him too much above our kind? Ah, he's been meddling with chaos. I think that's what generally that means. Let's see. Well, I have no intention of helping you. I am afraid that you, Calder von Valencius, have no choice in the matter. Voidsphere produces a strange object, a blade without a handle that shimmers blue in the light. Try to resist, and I will demonstrate the power that the warp holds over mortals. Come to think of it, I might even take pleasure in doing so. You know what? I'll do as you require, but I will find a way to make you pay for this, you filth. I doubt it, my dear Calder, but that's enough talk. Fulfill your destiny. Oh, skill checks and dialogue. So, your character's skills affect the results of their actions. A successful skill check can reveal new information and hidden lines in dialogue. Cool, got it. In the gateway arch, you see a cogitator with a human likeness built into the front panel. As you approach, the torso twitches slightly. This is a servitor, an obedient automaton created from a lobotomized human being. The sentinel turns its head to you, one of its eye sockets lighting up with two ember-like irises. Let's look back. Did you forget something, Calder? I suggest you hurry. Look for anything that could be used as a weapon. You look around in the hopes of finding at least something that could work as a weapon. Your search is in vain. The chamber anteroom is completely empty and in perfect working condition. Nary a broken panel nor a protruding piece of rebar in sight. So our tech use gives us a 55% chance here. So it's got a difficulty modifier of 30, which is the 30 on the check, plus our skill value of 25, that gives you the chance percentage. So you add your skill to the difficulty and then you roll a D100. I believe that's the same way for all of them, if I've got this right. So yeah, this is a fairly easy check. 50-50, pretty much. We failed. You look over the gate cogitator. There is little chance you'll be able to discern anything about its design. Like any other sacred machine in the Imperium, this relic is a specialty of the machine cult of the Adaptus Mechanicus, the technological organization also known as the Priesthood of Mars, which maintains, constructs, and honors the sacred technologies of humanity. The servitor on the gate begins to move. With the screeching and groaning of metal, it leans forward, closer to you. Its lower jaw opens with a drawn-out shriek, much wider than the jaw of a living human could. The servitor's mouth is filled with sharp metallic fangs that glint in the dim light. The vid screen to the right of you lights up, showing strings of mysterious symbols on a green background. Let's examine it. The servitor looks noticeably different from the ones you're used to. Copper thread stretches its skin. The joints are replaced by metal hinges. It seems like the creators of the Sentinel did everything so that the results of their work would serve much longer than ordinary working automatons. Well, let's place our hand into the Sentinel's maw. That seems like the obvious thing to do. The Sentinel's jaws clamp around your hand, puncturing your skin and sinking into your flesh. A few dark drops fall into the servitor's throat, and immediately you hear humming as the servo motors start up and the pumps stir into motion. The vid screen of the cogitator flickers. Several long minutes pass. The Sentinel's jaws remain closed, and you're beginning to feel sick. Perhaps if you were to lean against the gate, you could catch your breath. Maybe even close your eyes and pretend none of this had ever happened. High levels of caustic humors. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance? You do not understand where this quiet voice is coming from, crackling like static. Is it the Sentinel? The cogitator? Is it a figment of your weary mind? Whichever it is, you can clearly hear every word. Who is this? You hear the voice again, and this time you realize it is coming from the two speakers built into the sentinel's shoulders. Genetic code identified. House, a child of House von Valancius. Do you require assistance? Yes, Sentinel. Traitor has threatened my life and the safety of the warrant. Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol. Oh, well that's convenient. Well, there is still another way. Oh, he pieces out through the warp portal. And we can now check the warrant chamber. Can I, like, just leave? There's some turrets here. Just seeing what else we have around here before I'm ready to go. Wait, am I standing in the fire? No, however, I do have an old wound which can't be healed. Okay, well that's not good. Now we're in the warrant chamber. The enormous gates match the importance of the thing they protect. The massive doors are made of heavy metal and look impregnable. Okay. What else have we got in here? Not too much else. Just the warrant of trade itself. Okay. Let it be known that by my will and by the true words of this document, I appoint the person to be bearer of the warrant of trade and to be paragon of humanity broken by adversity to what brave... we'll read it later. Yes, it's going slightly too quick for us to get fully into. Oh, hello. Can I go further back? No. Okay. The servo skull's creaking gradually turns into comprehensible words. Escort the child of the house to safety. Well, what madness is happening here? Who are you? Who addresses me? Temporary obnulation following acute stress. Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel standing by. Are you the Warrant Sentinel? Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel designed as personal escort of the child of the house and a means of communicating with the rogue trader's subjects. Mobile unit standing by. I need to contact someone, preferably Theodora. Voxcast frequencies disrupted. Initiating setup. Establishing connection. In place of the mechanical screeching, the servoskull's Vox projects the voice of Theodora von Valencia. Distorted and ridden with static, yet still recognizable beyond a doubt. Voxmaster, restore communication with the Navigator's Sanctum. I am trying to contact the bridge. If anyone can hear me on this frequency, regroup all available forces and head to the upper decks at once. I repeat, regroup all available forces and head... Communication protocols breached. Signal latency. Assessment unavailable. Unable to establish two-way communication. I need a weapon, I'm utterly defenseless. Distance from the current location to the nearest arsenal. Initiating situational calculations. The servoskull goes silent and its relays clicking. Second after second passes, and you realize the servoskull will not answer you. Lead me away from here. Middle and upper decks, assuming the probability of safe placement in areas of concentration of armed units. Calculating. The servoskull twitches and makes a few clicks. To prevent unauthorized units from breaching the warrant chamber, preemptive sealing must be initiated. The mobile unit will start executing the received order immediately after the safety of the warrant is secured. Okay, pause, just so nothing else can happen. I just want to see what it was saying here with the warrant. So let's go further back. Okay. Let it be known that by my will and by the true words of this document, I appoint this person to be bearer of the warrant of trade and bestow upon them and their dynasty the great mission to be the paragon of humanity, unbroken by adversity, to walk bravely first into darkness, to unite and reclaim what was lost, to triumph over nightmares untold, to hold boldly to the reins of fate, to walk steadily the road of thorns through pain to greatness. Okay, no pressure then. No pressure. Right. Let us go. We have no weapon, so this is our only real option. Okay. You following me, weird skull? I thought you were meant to be leading the way. Draw strength from your unwavering faith and find courage in fulfilling your final duty, for showing weakness before his enemies is heresy. I see, it's just like an emotional support robot. Can I leave here? Oh. Turrets do anything? Still red hot from the gunfire, the engines of death froze as they finished off the heretics that infiltrated the sanctum of the voidship. Okay. Oh, I didn't seal the warrant chamber. Well, that will do it then. I will seal the warrant chamber. Perfect. Oh, hello. Abelard. Seneschal Abelard Wissarion has lost some of his former polish. His forehead is sweating, and one of the sleeves of his coat is torn and soaked through with blood. Nonetheless, despite his heavy breathing, he stands firm and his gaze is demanding, albeit somewhat surprised. Master Calder, whatever are you doing in the warrant chamber? How did you... He surveys the carnage around him. His brow furrows, and he places a hand on his weapon. Throne preserve me. What is the meaning of this? Throne. An arcane cybernetic artifact that encases the God Emperor's physical remains entire and preserve them using stasis fields and psi fusion reactors. Kunrad Voigtvir is a traitor. When we parted ways on the officer's deck, he stunned me somehow and brought me here. The Seneschal's eyes widen. What? He spoke about defiling the warrant with some ritual and serving the gods of the warp. Serving the gods of the warp? Kunrad is a heretic? Oh, Voigtvir, you void rat. Abelard shakes his head. Madness. This mutiny is likewise his doing, no doubt. Let's see. So it would seem, but he is not here and we have a mutiny to end. Indeed, indeed, Abelard frowns. That is easier said than done, of course. Seeing one of Lady Theodora's heirs alive inspires at least some degree of optimism. Abelard examines you critically. You're in a bad way, Calder. I can treat your wounds. I have a Medicaid kit with me. And for the love of throne, now is not a good time to be walking around the decks without means of self-defense. Here, he hands you a weapon. A las gun. Hey, don't we get a bonus with las guns? I'm fairly certain that we do. Okay, if you fall into a trap or receive damage that exceeds 50% of their total wounds within one round, the character receives injuries. Injuries reduce stats. Okay, got it. Number of injuries that cause trauma may... okay. If 3 or more injuries accumulate, the character will get trauma. Okay. Instead of stacks of injuries. The number of injuries that cause trauma may vary depending on the difficulty of the game you chose. Also, characters get trauma if they completely lose health in battle. Trauma reduces a character's stats and grants an additional negative effect. If fresh injuries are not treated within 5 rounds, they will become old injuries. So if you can treat them in battle, then you can get rid of them quickly. Otherwise, they'll be old injuries. Use Medikit to restore wounds and heal injuries in and out of combat. After the combat, wounds of all party members are restored automatically, but received injuries remain. They can be cured with the use of a Medikit. Old injuries can also be removed with a Medikit, but require an additional Medicaid check. Traumas can only be healed in the Rogue Trader's quarters on the voidship. Got it. Okay. So, here, let's first of all equip the las gun. Thank you. I got it. Okay. Interestingly, what I will say is in my test run, I did this section, and I ended up with a gun and an axe, and I was in the fighter class. So this is definitely class-specific equipment that you're getting here. I was hoping to see my... wait to see character sheet? Is that like C? There we go. I just want to see if we have a passive ability. We have a Death World passive ability. I'm sure we got a bonus with las weapons. I just want to see what it is. None of these. If we did get one, it was either something that we... Yeah, I think it was one of the ones that we don't have yet. Okay, cool. Anyway. So now we've done that. I believe the bag needs to go to him. And then, on him,
at your service.
We need to use this bag. And then apply it to us.
Let me help.
Abelard nods in satisfaction. That is a notable improvement, Calder. now you are prepared for the trials ahead. The lower decks are teeming with heretics, instigating the rabble to revolt. But that is the least of our problems. The ship's enforcers are rounding up the scoundrels and suppressing the resistance. The situation on the middle decks is much worse, although strike teams have already been dispatched there. All communication with the bridge and the engineering bay was lost, so apart from scattered voxcasts, we have no information to go on. Oh, and things are falling apart. But that is not the worst of it all. He pauses when the light flickers yet again. All these jolts and shaking are most alarming. These are signs that the navigator and the master helmsman are having difficulty translating the ship out of the warp and into real space. In the worst case, they've already lost control of the process, and we all have precious few moments left to live. In the best case, if we manage to reach the navigator's sanctum and get a handle on the situation, some aboard this vessel may yet survive. Okay, what exactly has gone wrong with the translation? I'm no helmsman, or God Emperor preserve me, navigator. However, I have spent my entire life aboard void ships equipped with warp drives, and know that portends such as these do not bode well. It could be that the Geller field has faltered, perhaps a navigator was struck down by warp corruption and is fighting for the last shreds of his humanity as we speak. If we get thrown off course, we will be forever lost in the warp. Naturally, we will not have long to live in that scenario. But even so, I do not intend to resign myself to such an outcome just yet. How did you find me? Abelard tilts his head and looks at you with worry. You sent me a Vox message, specifically a Voxcast on the officer's frequency, which I had the good fortune to receive. Did you mean to say you did no such thing? Yeah, I think the warrant sentinel may have sent that message. It appeared when I opened the chamber. Warrant sentinel? He looks at the surface skull floating next to you. The Lord Captain barely ever ventures down to the chamber. I was at her side only once or twice when she did. I did not see anything of the sort. The warrant chamber is an ancient and rather sacred mechanism that the ship's tech priests treat with utmost reverence. I assume that, whatever it is you did, you must have activated certain processes and caused the sentinel to awaken. But then why did none of that happen when Lady Theodora did the same? He frowns. I heard one of Theodora's Voxcasts. Lady Theodora's? Which one? The last one I received was about the Navigator's Sanctum, but that was a good while ago. In any case, let us hope that the Lord Captain is well and safely in charge of the ship's defense. In the meantime, we must do all we can to prevent the ship from veering off course. What can we expect to find in the Navigator's Sanctum? During warp transit, the Sanctum is closed to all who are not involved in the course charting process, and for good reason. For the Navigator to open their third eye and perceive the way, the Sanctum has to be bathed in the energies of the Imperium. Only a Navigator can withstand such an ordeal. For the rest of us, any contact with the warp is fraught with perils such as loss of sanity, spontaneous mutations, and death. Abelard does not bat an eye as he lists all the horrors you are about to face. Okay. The Navigator's Sanctum. Very well. Will you lead the way? Absolutely, Calder. Let us proceed. A wave of static suddenly erupts from the servo skull, and you can make out Theodora's words through the noise. To arms, loyal sons and daughters of the God Emperor. Fight the heresy and corruption that threatens to consume our home, and with all your might destroy those who have dared. Seneschal's eyes light up and he smiles with grim determination. The Lord Captain is calling her crew to battle, which means the Vox networks are set up for broadcast transmission. Not message exchange. Excellent. While the rogue trader inspires proper resolve to fight in her subjects, you and I shall prove that her trust in us is well deserved. Onward. Okay. And
the Emperor is with us.
0 round.
Show them no mercy.
So, combat begins with 0 round. During this round, characters cannot attack or take other actions, but they can take advantageous positions. During a 0 round, you can move each character in your party up to their maximum MP, but no closer than 1 cell to the opponent. The distance may vary in different combats. The deployment round will not be available if you are ambushed by enemies. Okay, so we basically get a free movement, which is definitely good. So Abelard, we know he's got a sword, he's going to be up front. So we ideally want to find him some people to attack. So I'm going to put him over... You know what? Let's put him over here. We, on the other hand, want to be as far away from people as possible. So I think we want to be over here. We want to try and shoot these guys in our initial volley. Right? So we want to do like an AoE shot on them while he goes in and kills this side. Whether it works or not, I don't know. But let's try it. They're running into us to start with. Not great, but okay. Oh, nice parry. Melee attack. Melee weapons make it impossible for enemies with ranged weapons to attack at close range unless the enemy is using pistols or shotguns. Melee weapon attacks always hit but can be dodged. If the attacked character is also using a melee weapon, then it will attempt to parry them at the same time with the dodge check. So, parry. When attacked by an enemy with a melee weapon, the character ultimately tries to dodge and parry the attack. To parry, the character makes a weapon skill characteristic check. If he succeeds, he will parry. So if you dodge and you pass this check, you parry. Okay. The higher difference between the attackers and the target's weapon skill characteristics, the less chance the target has to parry the attack. You can also make an area attack with a melee weapon and hit all creatures in the area of effect. A character in range of an area attack will try to avoid it and automatically make a dodge and parry check. Okay. Damage of an area attack made by a melee weapon depends on the parameters of the weapon and the character's strength. Okay. So this is now Abelard's turn. And then it's going to be ours in 2 turns. So you get a turn first. Okay. So we could do like a strike here.
I will do, like...
Followed by a charge over here to hit this guy.
At your beck and call.
Nice. Wonderful. Oh, and we got a crit. Perfect. Attacks of opportunity. Characters with melee weapons can make attack of opportunity if the opponent in the adjacent cell initiates movement. Cool. Right, so I think that's his turn. We could brace for impact, which gives him a deflection bonus. I don't think we need to worry about that. I think we're okay. So they're going in at Abelard, which is fine. He parries their attack. Action points. This is just telling us that we have action points in combat. Each action costs action points. So we have to walk away from this person, right? So if we don't walk away, we can't shoot at all. So let's go 3 MP back. We take an attack of opportunity, but that's okay. Then I'm going to do run and gun. Could do combined arms as well. It's only once per combat, but it might be worth doing because the combat's not going to be that long. And then I'm thinking we just shoot. What does this cost? This costs 2 AP. That puts us down to -1 apparently. Wait, is that right? I'll say it'll put us down to -1. That doesn't seem right. Oh, it will lower it by 1, I think is what that's actually saying. Oh, okay. Yeah, so in which case we can use this. So let's go for combined arms. Shoot like this. We're aiming to shoot all the way along. Let's see if we get anybody. Hey, we got 3 kills. And we get an extra shot. There we go. Not quite all of them, but that's still pretty good for 1 turn. Ow. That's quite a lot of damage we took there. Wasn't 50%, so we're not going to take an injury, but still. Quite a lot of damage. Let's charge over here and hit this guy.
I took care of this one.
Right, and then that's our turn. Okay. We probably want to head along here. We do get hit, but that's fine. Then run and gun. Or shot on the run, as it's called. Shoot him. We killed him. And we got experience, which we can use to level up. Companions receive XP and new levels at the same rate of your character, even if they're not in your party. Love it. Means that you can switch your companions as you want for lore reasons, rather than having to keep them in the party. Awesome. Right. Well, let's grab people. We also got some loot as well. Ooh.
This master-crafted
have a look at this.
is not fit for a servitor.
So we got some swords. Now, we have 2 options of loot. Just checking.
We are the spearhead of the Imperium.
I want to be on you. So your chainsword is 14 to 18. So these swords that we've got. They're 12 to 15, so they're going to be worse. We could take we could take one sword for ourselves, I suppose. Yeah, so let's go in here. I want to split this. I want to send one over here. Can I not do that? See, I can put two in here. Can I do this? No. Wait. So how do you... Oh, there. You just click it once. You can't click and drag. You just click it. Got it. Okay, so we're going to keep one. We're going to chuck the other to cargo. Cargo, like inventory, is basically anything that you want to use in combat that you pick up, or anything you want to use at any time after picking it up. You put it in your inventory. If you don't want it, you stick it in cargo, and then you can just sell it in bulk later, essentially. So you can see it's packaged as cargo, and you can see our melee weapon cargo has now gone up by 10%, because now we've got a melee weapon in there. I'll chuck that across. I'm assuming we can use melee weapons. So how do I move this between characters? Oh, I don't. Inventory shared. Well, that'll do it. I feel it's worth having a sword, even if we don't necessarily want to use one. We probably should have one in case we get surrounded, or, you know, it becomes the best opportunity to, like, if it becomes our best option. Right.
Whatever you wish.
Let's see what else we got here. You have a las pistol, which is 6 to 8, which is the same as ours, but you get pistol bursts instead. Range is much lower, max ammo is much lower. Penetration, however, is higher. That's interesting that its penetration is higher. There is a bit of an argument, actually, for instead of going for a sword, to have this and just try and stay far enough back that you can switch if you need the extra penetration. I guess there is a bit of an argument there. Enough of an argument that I'm going to go, okay, and I'm going to equip it. There we go. So that's our backup one. It will also mean that instead of reloading, we can switch to our pistol. Anything else that we need to loot here? Yes, this guy. Collecting trophies. Defeated enemies no longer need their things, but you can find valuable trophies among them. Click on the body to inspect it. Not everything in the world is of value, and you can put it in your cargo. Okay. That's fine. So now we've filled up our cargo to 50%. Okay. This seems mostly fine.
Guide our way.
Now all we need to do is level up, and then we can move on. Right. So, level up. So what we've done is now we've leveled up, we can upgrade the Marksman Doctrine. I've been told apparently these might be available at level 10 or something like that. That there's some condition for these to be available. So let's just go for this. And we can either upgrade a skill if we want to. Or we can upgrade one of these. So what are these? Oh, so this is saying this is the skill list. So this one is we can upgrade a skill. Got it. And then this one is we can choose a new ability. So dash. The marksman immediately dashes in the selected direction, spending all movement points. Does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Allows to dash through allies and enemies, but not through obstacles. Okay. So that would be pretty useful in the situation we were just in. When somebody's running at you, we can dash away and then still take a shot. Controlled shot. We give a sign we're going to shoot. The marksman and their allies will automatically dodge the next marksman shot. Okay, so we can shoot through our allies. That's kind of cool as well. Revel in slaughter. We gain bonuses until the end of combat based on agi. Okay. The ability is available after killing 3 enemies. So that's the negative there. That seems really good on longer fights though. Ready, go. Immediately spends all their AP and MP, gaining a 30% bonus to cover efficiency. On the next time the marksman uses shot on the run, they gain all the spent action points and movement points back, plus 1 additional AP, and reset the cooldown of all the marksman's abilities except for shot on the run. So this is spend 1 turn huddled and then go. Okay. The marksman's next shot costs 1 AP less, minimum 1, but has a minus 30 BS penalty. We don't really have any shots that cost that much, so this isn't that useful for us. Rapid fire. Next marksman's burst attack will have double rate of fire, but 25% less damage. All shots will now follow, or will follow random trajectories. Only works with weapons capable of burst fire. I quite like dash. I think dash sounds really good for us. We're going to take dash. Oh, and we get a skill. Oh, In which case, what do we want? So this is physical prowess, such as leaping. That's for healing. That's for healing. I guess because we've got a skill here and as the Astra Militarum Commander, that means that effectively we can get that skill up twice because it's part of our class and it's part of this. Right? On the next skill one, we could raise it. But if we only had it in one or the other, we could only raise it once, and then on the next skill check, it wouldn't be available, I'm guessing. I think awareness sounds really good. It tells you if things are around. Yeah, that sounds good. Is that us there to summary? Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Let's go with that. That seems pretty good for us. Now, Abelard. He has the fighter doctrine. So his fighter doctrine is all about melee combat as far as we can see. So, he gets the same kind of things. Give him... oh, we have to choose them in the order it gives you them. Okay. Endure. Until the fighter's next turn, all incoming damage is reduced by the fighter's toughness bonus, divided by 2. So all incoming damage is reduced by 5. And the fighter gains 10 temporary wounds. That's not bad. And we can use that like every turn. Oh no, cooldown is 1 round, not 1 turn. Interesting. So, yeah, interesting. Sworn enemy. Marks a target gaining 10 plus 2 times the toughness bonus. So, that's going to be 30% to armor. And 2 plus the strength bonus, which is 10, so 12, to damage on melee attacks against that target. If the target attacks the fighter during this round, the fighter gains 1 AP once per round. Reckless Strike. The fighter's next melee attack gains 5 times strength bonus percentage, so that'll be 50% to armor penetration, and 2 times strength bonus to damage, so that'll be 20... Yes, 20 extra damage. That's pretty good. It ignores 3 times the weapon skill, so 30 of the target's parry. Every enemy who survives the attack enhanced by this ability... Every enemy who survives the attack enhanced by this ability attacks the fighter back, including creatures with ranged weapons. So it's you're going all in for one big hit. Okay. This one allows you to push people back with the strength of your hits. This is a taunt. Okay, for people who fail a willpower check. And then break through the lines. The fighter dashes through an enemy to the cell on the opposite side of the enemy and makes a melee attack with 50% reduced damage. Can only be applied once for 1 target per round. It does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Okay. And the fighter gains slice ability with agi bonus divided by 2. So 2.5 charges for this round. Slice cannot be used in the same round as charge. Huh. I quite like Sworn Enemy. I think that would be useful. I also think Endure could be very useful. Actually, Endure could be really useful. Just run them in, have them use that, and have them tank. I think that could be an incredibly useful ability. And then here, what are we going to get him to do? He could... oh no, he could coerce for us. We're not very good at coercing right now. Yeah, let's do that. Right. We have him set up. Do we have a biography? Absolutely not. Alright, cool. Let's grab the party, check for loot. I think we got everything. Quick save, and let's go to the next room. The Navigator's Sanctum. Okay, let's go.
A nice
forward.
little stroll.
Well, somebody up there. Hello. Oh. The woman before you whips around and gazes straight at you, her eyes glowing with otherworldly light. And so he will enter the halls of the blinded guide and witness the radiance of the final dawn through the cracks and fall victim to a whim of fate. Master Calder, watch your head. Oh. Oh. That was close. Adira, Abelard grumbles as he dusts himself off and grips his weapon again. Would it be too much to ask that you phrase your soothsayings plainly for once? That was too close. Oh, so that was literally what she was saying. I see. Cool. The woman burst into guttural, drunken laughter. Sorry, old man. The voices are so loud I can't even hear them myself. They shriek, they sing. Oh, how Abelard, how they sing. Calder, this is Adira class, a personal psyker and diviner of her ladyship, Theodora von Valancius. Abelard looks her up and down. Adira. I'm not drunk, old man. I'm suffering the effects of the warp that is seeping through these walls. I see the ship's fate, to die in the waves of the Imperium, fall under the burning rays of the final dawn, and in the roaring blaze I see a figure standing. Who is it? Who? I have no answer. A diviner, are you? Adira nods, yet her gaze is directed somewhere away from you. The voices from beyond the threshold whisper to me. Sometimes their murmurs are clear. They grant insight. Sometimes they drive me mad. But I am patient. I know how to listen and discern. But now, with this clamour around me, too many voices, too loud. Adira turns her head to you, her vacant eyes flaring like embers. And you? You are Calder von Valancius, one of Lady Theodora's heirs. Well then, we finally meet. You hear a few clicks from the relays on the servo skull, which has followed you all the way here, and Theodora's scrambled words give way to a voice vaguely familiar to you. Officer's frequency, to all who can hear me, those with a weapon in their hands are to gather on the officer's deck at once. Repeat, gather on the officer's deck at once and prepare to launch a counterattack. That's Adelthrad. Emperor's Providence. The other heir lives as well. Quickly, we must head to... Not so fast, old man. If we drown in the warp, no number of Lady Theodora's heirs will be of use to us anymore. Adelthrad, like me, is not yet surrendered to either mind or body to the mercy of the warp, and he can still hold out a little without us. Abelard spits out a florid curse. Blast it! You're right, first we need to deal with whatever's happening here. How do you know who I am? What, do you think Lady Theodora didn't ask me to peek into the darkness behind the backs of those she sees as her prospective heirs? Adira laughs in a deep voice. Well, I have seen you, Calder. I have seen the footsteps of your past, and the wounds of your heart. What are you doing here? The whispers called me. The ones I could make out among all the screams and screeches. Those who were rocking the boat hit us where it hurt. They went after the navigator, our guide through the warp. Other whisperers called me to the engineerium. It was too late. I heard the cry of our master cog and the silence that followed. What? You don't mean the chief engine seer is... Yes, Abelard, dead, without a doubt. And the voices wail, heralding countless nightmares, cackling at each soul with among the hundreds that are now joining the warp. The shriek from the navigator's sanctum was louder than the rest, and it's better that we save the navigator than some lever puller from a cooling module or a cook from the middle decks. But we must see if the navigator is well. Oh no, nothing is well about him. Can't you feel the chill crawling on your skin, the eyes watching you? The warp ice has already encased the bulkheads. What follows is calamity. Adira freezes. Then she slaps her cheeks, rubs her face, and looks at you. Supernatural glow is gone from her eyes, and a smirk spreads across her lips. But we're not just gonna stand here and take it, are we? The state of things in here suggests the navigator's around. Maybe one who's crippled or at death's door, but still kicking. Since our skin hasn't peeled off our faces just yet, his third eye must be closed. At worst, it's a little roughed up. So what are we moping around for? Let's go protect that noble mutant while we're still alive. Cool. So, we now have a new member of our party. We have Adira. So let's gather ourselves up, set ourselves here, and we can have a quick look at her. So she is going to be a psyker, so she has a psychic staff which has different abilities on it, and she also has a las pistol as a backup. Cool. I don't think there's really anything else we could offer her. We don't really have any equipment, so yeah, this is about it for our party. And it also seems like a good point to end the episode with a new party member, a new goal. Well, 2 new party members since the start of the episode, a new goal, and some positive thinking. I think we're good to take back the ship. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.